Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Eating Out Part 4, a continuation of discussion regarding Chalak meat. As we said in Shia number 3, Midoraita, one does the shchita on the animal, there's a cheskas kashrut, we assume everything is fine. Rabbanan were machmir by lungs, that one must check the lungs. And that's the halakha. Of course, every shochet has to bedika on the lungs. If there is a hole in the lung, then it's treif. Some have the minhag to always blow up the lung and make sure that it retains the air, so that way you could see clearly there is no hole in the lungs. What's the whole idea about halak? So sometimes there's an adhesion to the lung, and the question, of course, is what is that adhesion to the lung? Is it just secretions that built up there? What is it from? Is it really a hole underneath those adhesions, the secretions, and once there's a hole, then that's a treifa? Or do we say, no, it's covered up now, so if it's covered up, maybe it's not a treifa? Or do we say that maybe halachically, when there's adhesion, there's no hole, but maybe it's going to lead to a hole, and the fact is, once it's going to lead to a hole, possibly, then even now it's considered to be as if there's a hole, or maybe it's going to lead to a hole. So right now it doesn't have a hole, but we're afraid it's going to lead to that. So these are some of the concerns when there's an adhesion to the lung, a sircha. Because of the various concerns, depending on Rashi, Tosfos, Rashba, how you learn the sugya, but some Rishonim say that once there is an adhesion, there's a sircha, there's either an assumption that there's a hole, some that there's going to be a hole, and right now it's considered as if there's a hole because there will be a hole, or there's an assumption that there will be a hole, and the problem is that since there will be a hole, then that's what we're concerned about. Either way, these Rishonim are concerned with the sircha, and they treif up the animal once there's a sircha. And therefore, these Rishonim demand there must be a halak lung. Halak means smooth, glatt in Yiddish. That's it. And if the lung is smooth, it is fine. Once the shochet feels there's stuff going on there, there's sirchas, that's it. Treif, nikuda. This is the psak of the Shulchan Aruch in Lametet, Sif Aleph, and in several places throughout Lametet in Yoreh Daiah, and that's Rabbi Danny Yosef's conclusion as well in Yabia Omer that designs to talk about this. The Shulchan Aruch's psak. The Ramah, however, is makel, and he assumes that no, that there's times that there's a sircha, and when there's a sircha, if we could go ahead and either peel it off or see if we mush it a little bit, put a little bit of pressure and it dissolves, and that's a sign it's not a real sircha, and there is no concern about a hole in such a case, especially if you take it off and you see the lung is totally fine and there's nothing to discuss, everything is good. Various reasons that the poskim are fine with playing around with the sirch or possibly removing it totally. The Aruch Hashulchan has a lengthy explanation throughout Lametet, the second half of Lametet, and different shitas say that even though there's a sirch and there's not halak, it is fine. The Ramah says this is the minhag in many places in Europe. It's a very big kula, but he says there are those who rely on this kula. And because of that, you'll find meat on the market from the time of the Ramah that it is not halak, but those shitas are relying on the Ramah. Even though he didn't say it's a great shita, he did say people rely on this approach. So that's a little background to the concept of halak and non-halak meat. Shalom.